than a lot of the guys are getting during the day. So this year it's one of the definitely new methods I'm going to spend a little time at, is like the nighttime bite.
No, that sounds awesome. I've done some night fishing, and again, I've done it with topwater because the noise really turns them on.
That's the way a lot of the guys out here are doing it, is topwater bite.
You know, I've even gone to the point where I've done topwater walleye in some shallow water bays where I've known the fish have hung out during the day going after bait fish, and they get active, and you can actually get walleye coming up and snagging buzz baits.
Oh, jeez.
So it's something topwater it's definitely up there as one of the number one ways of presentation. Do you have anything else to ask Matt there, Nathan?
Sure. No, go ahead, Nathan.
I got one more good one for you that I'm sure will pull a good story out. What's your most embarrassing moment out on the water?
One time I was fishing down the Columbia River. It was actually, I think it was a divisional for like TBF or whatever, and I almost fell in. Like, I had to get my boater to rescue me because I kicked over his rods when he had a fish on, and I had to like sort of jump in the boat, like the water. The water was cold because it was like May, so the water was like low 50s. And once my weight started to go too much over the gunnel of the boat, it was just a downhill spiral into the river. So I had to get him to grab the back of my life jacket and pull me in, because if not, probably would have been upside down in the river. So it's like, so you never know what's going to happen out there. Or one time, like, I used to guide back in Northern Ontario, and I had this one religious group with me. I got a hook in my leg, so I had to strip my clothes all off to remove the hook. So I was a little bit like, you get a couple guys there that are very religious, and it becomes a little awkward situation when you're half naked trying to get a hook out of your leg.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, Matt, we're at about the 6-minute time limit, so we're going to have to cut this off and make room for our sponsors. They're the ones that pay for our show to be on the air. And I really appreciate you taking the time with us, and we'll definitely have you back on the show and have some more stories about the BC waters.
All right, guys, I appreciate it, Robin and Nathan. And, you guys have a good day. Enjoy yourself, and thanks for having me on.
Okay, no problem. Thank you. And now a word from our sponsors.
Your outdoor lifestyle brand.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones. Sticks and stones.
Sticks and stones.
Sticksandstone.ca.
Strike Pro, casting into the future, the secret weapon of your tackle box. Strike Pro lures have been the choice of many anglers around the world, and have won many fishing tournaments and competitions worldwide. Whether you're a tournament pro or a recreational angler, don't go fishing without lures from Strike Pro. Remember, limit your catch and release for the future.
When winning is on the line, the winning line is McCoy. McCoy's Advanced Super Braid uses polymer-saturated Spectra fibers to create a super strong, super tough, premium line. Reinforcing the Spectra fibers gives our braided line greater resistance to breakdown and deterioration, UV exposure, and eliminates water absorption. McCoy's Super Spectra braid is 15% stronger and 5x more abrasive resistant than similar diameter Spectrum lines.
Eagle Claw fish hooks. An American tradition and excellence that generations of fishermen have known to be the world's finest for over 60 years. That same technology goes into every Eagle Claw rod from the handle to the tip, and we make a rod for every fishing need. While you're not apt to ever have a problem with an Eagle Claw rod, you can be sure that we'll be there if you do. We're Eagle Claw of Denver. Eagle Claw rods are available at better sporting goods dealers worldwide.
Internet Inquiries, brought to you by Team Roscoe Power Sports, your BRP product dealer in Kirkland Lake, Ontario. Give Tanner a call and he can set you up with your accessories, ATVs, snowmobiles, outboard products, fishing products, And give him a call at 705-567-4411. Again, that's Team Roscoe Power Sports. Okay, folks, through our internet inquiries, we got an email from a gentleman in Bracebridge by the name of Earl Paw. Now, Earl wants to know what is our most used walleye technique. So we've got Nathan and George here, and we've each got our own preferred methods of going after walleye. Mine, to start off with, is shallow water cranking. By shallow water, it's 10 feet or less, and I like using crankbaits that are long and narrow, minnow style. Some of them with a little bit wider head and narrow down to a tail, much like a wally diver, which is made by Cotton Cordell. Now, one of my favorite colors, I'll go with a couple of standards. The clown pattern, I'll go with gold and black, chrome and blue, and silver and black. What I'll do is I'll look for rocky shorelines, cast up onto them, and bring the bait back at a slow stop and go method, and usually on the windswept side, and usually in that 4 to 6 foot range, you'll get some good sized walleye. The walleye that are up like that are usually feeding heavily, and they tend to be your larger 4 to 6, 7 pound walleye. So Nate, what's your preferred method?
Well, there's a lot of different methods, but I have to pick one that I prefer over the rest. It would have to be bottom bouncing, I'd say. So to do that, what I like to try and do is get my boat going about 1.4 miles an hour, and depending on the body of water, I use a bottom bouncer. I put a go-getter on, and the go-getter usually trails about 4 feet behind the bottom bouncer.
Just to cut you off for a second, what are you putting on the go-getter? What are you using on behind that go-getter?
Usually, depending on the bottom of water, usually I use some sort of live bait. I generally like to use a leech, depending on the body of water. Sometimes I'll use shiners, but generally I'm using leeches on my go-getters. And if I had to pick a color, it usually changes a lot depending on the body of water. But I'm usually using a chartreuse or a fire tiger or a blue and chrome colors.
Okay, now George, what's your favorite presentation method?
Well, I definitely have to say that my favorite presentation would be vertical jigging. You use a jig head that's heavy enough that will make contact with the bottom. You keep your line vertical and you hop the bait along the bottom in about a 6-inch increment to mimic a minnow feeding off the bottom.
Okay, and so basically you'll vary the size of weight of the jig head depending on depth of water.
Yeah,
and current.
Generally, it's 1 ounce to 3/4 ounce for about 20 feet of water.
Okay. That way you're making sure you have good contact with the bottom and you're keeping in the strike zone then.
Yeah.
Okay, that was awesome. Now what we'll do is we'll definitely send Earl an email off with our answers and a link to listen to the show. The next thing is we will be sending off Earl one of our Fishication gift packages, which will contain products from Strike Pro, McCoy, and Bombshell Turtles. And so, folks, anybody else that would like to get in on this, just send us an email at fishication@gmail.com. Okay, so today's summary, we had Randy Chamzik from the App Door talking about the iFish apps, which I think are a great item to have, and it's something that you can have on your phone and keep record of, track lakes, and a whole lot of information. We'll have Randy back on another time, and we'll tear apart his apps, and we'll find out exactly what they can do for us as an angler to help us have a better and more enjoyable fishing trip. Matt Benson, way out there on Vancouver Island in Vancouver, or not Vancouver, but British Columbia, talking to us about largemouth and smallmouth bass, and some of the sizes that they're getting out there are just incredible. Really, really good, awesome fishing out there. Matt's been around the bass fishing industry for quite a few years, doing a lot of fishing in Seattle as well as mainland BC. I know he's talked to me at other times about Osoyoos Lake, which borders Seattle and BC, and it's right on the bottom of BC's little desert. And that lake has got some world-class largemouth. I've heard of largemouth coming out of there from that over 15 pounds. We also had our question and answer, or our internet inquiry from Earl Paw, who was asking us about some walleye techniques. And I had myself and George and Nathan, and we talked about our 3 different presentations, and it's 3 different presentations on how to get walleye. Not all of them will work at the same time, but each one has its own unique time and place. And I know I've fished walleye tournaments before where people have caught, their various fish that they've weighed in on all 3 techniques. There's a lot more out there, but that's 3 to start off with, and usually those are 3 of the top ways to produce walleye, whether you're fishing the Great Lakes or Northern Ontario Lakes or up there on Lesser Slave Lake in Alberta. So just remember, folks, you can follow Fishucation on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just look us up and give us a follow, and we've got a lot of great stuff on there. Also, you can follow us on WFN. We're ambassadors for WFN, and we do put content there. iFish Magazine, which is an online magazine. We do put some good articles in there, and you can take a look at. Keep tuned in for more Fishucation, where all of us will get educated and not only become better anglers, but have a lot more fun on the water. So let's listen to Fishucation, and let's all get fishucated. We'll see you next time on the airwaves. Fishucation brought to you by these fine sponsors: Texarillo, the ultimate roadhouse band; Strike Pro, casting into the future; Bombshell Turtles, the answer is finally revealed; Eagle Claw rods and reels; Mona's Fish On Bait and Tackle; McCoy Fishing Line; Team Roscoe BRP Products; River Run Resort in Susquehanna, Ontario; Hunters Bay Marine, Legend and Triton Boats; Sticks and Stones outdoor lifestyle brand, hunting and fishing apparel.
It's Friday morning and the weekend's here, and I've been working like a dog. I just can't wait to hit that lake and reel me in a hog. So I call up the boss, said, listen, hoss, I ain't making it to the station. It's a mighty fine day and I'm itching to play. I'm gonna start my fishucation. If it's a high pound test you're looking for, I bet I could lower you in. We know the deal on rods and reels, shiny things that spin. So stay a while, don't touch that dial, you might find some inspiration. I'll take your call, hook, bait, and all. We're gonna start our fishucation. Our fishucation.